fill our nail holes, and after a little bit of research, we've decided to use spackling paste. We've heard it's easier to work with and doesn't crack or split as much as wood putty might. So of course there's a million ways to do it, but this is the one that we saw a lot of people recommending. So I've just got a little bit of spackle on my putty knife, and I'll do these two first. You guys know how to spackle, but you basically just make sure you pack it into the holes and drag it over until they're full, but there's nothing left on the wood sticking out. So I'm going up and down and filling all the holes this way. Now we're going to use caulk to fill in this sort of space you see between where the wall bows and where the board goes. So you can see over here I've already caulked it, how clean it looks, and you can see right here how it doesn't look that polished. So this is caulk made for molding doors and windows. It's by DAP and it's in brilliant white. White is just easier if you're going to be painting something white. The most important thing though is to make sure it's paintable. This is paintable in 40 minutes. If your caulk is not paintable, it will drive you crazy because you will watch as you put a paintbrush over it and the paint will literally bead off of it and you'll see the caulk come back through. So as long as you have white paintable caulk made for moldings, it's a great option for the top. So I'm going to just run a bead along the top edge, and then I'm going to drag my finger across it, and this is a messy process. But you can see how as you continue to wipe it off, it looks so much more finished than, say, this area which hasn't been caulked yet. Okay, so now is the painting part of this project. What we didn't videotape is priming, but we basically just went along with a stain blocking primer and covered all the boards. So all the wood we added that goes this way and this way got primed. And now we're doing paint. We're using Benjamin Moore Advanced Paint in Decorator's White. It's the same paint we used all the way back in 2011 to paint our cabinets in the office, and it holds up really well. It's super scrubbable, so we thought it would be great to use what we already had sitting around. So John is being the demonstrator. We both are kind of wielding the brushes, and he's also doing his roller business. But the brush just gets it into the cracks, so you kind of go up and down the battens, whatever those pieces are called, and then we're rolling the parts of the wall. And it probably would have made sense before this project to have painted this wall and then added the wood, but we're going to paint it afterwards.
My purple fall off the TV.
You are? She's playing with Grammy right now. Now it's time to paint, and I actually wanted to show you guys that I am freehanding this line on top of the board and batten. I didn't want to tape it because since this is so freshly painted, I was afraid we'd peel off the paint. If you don't have a steady hand, of course you can tape it off. I just would wait a few more days and use delicate surface tape. I'm just going to show you my method for freehanding it. I have a 2-inch angled brush. It's always the most control. I like a short-handled brush, but mine are dirty, so I'm using a long-handled brush. I'm just choking up on it so I have more control. I'm holding it really close to where the bristles are. I've dipped it in paint and then rubbed the back along the paint can and a little bit of the front along the paint can. So there's still a good amount of paint right here, but it's not dripping wet. So I don't have any paint on this side because I actually won't be going along the wall with that side. I twist my hand and drag it this way to paint. So one tip is to get down on the level that you're painting and then just sort of drag the brush to follow that line. And if you've been doing this for years and years, it becomes a lot easier. I remember doing this a while ago and thinking, my hand is not steady, how can I ever do this? And after years of working on it, it is just pretty simple for me now. But again, if you want to tape things off, you can. Just beware of paint that's just been painted because it could peel off. Speaking of paint that has not just been painted, segue, on the ceiling we taped it off. The reason for that is the ceiling was painted a really long time ago. We don't think it will peel off with the tape. In fact, in other rooms we've done this and it hasn't. And this means that I don't have to have a perfectly steady hand up on a ladder. So for stuff down here where I can easily access it, it's nice for me to freehand it, but for stuff that I'd be up teetering on a ladder, it's easier for me to just tape than worry about getting a perfect line freehanding it while standing on a footstool. So now John's going to come back and roll. So the board and batten is all painted and dry, and we wanted to just share the reveal. It really brightens up the hallway, and it adds a lot of dimension and interest. So we are just really glad that we did it. And I hope that you guys at home aren't too scared to do it, because it really was easy and nice and cheap, just like we like it.